Do you remember when the Harlem Shake used to be when two black guys would shake you down for money?
That guy, he was talking bad about Dolly. Yeah. I lost my temper and gave him a shove. At that moment, I heard some kind of loud noise. A little while after I left, I started to get worried. So I went back, but he was just lying there, dead.
Well, the explanation is really quite simple. When you pushed him, Mr. Swallow flew back and touched the electrical cable. He died from the shock, and that, as they say, is that.
A simple explanation indeed.
At the time of the incident, a light rain had been falling. Wet from the rain, the victim was more easily electrocuted.
But when I pushed him, there weren't any electrical cables nearby. If there had been something like that, even I would have noticed it. That's true. Even a doofus like him could have missed that.
Miss Fay? Let me warn you right now that if your cross-examination doesn't yield any new facts, I intend to deliver my verdict without further delay. Are we clear on that?
Yes, Your Honor. Don't give up, Mia. If he is innocent, there must be some kind of evidence somewhere that will prove it. That guy, he was talking bad about Dolly. So what kinds of things did Mr. Swallow say to you? He said all sorts of terrible things about Dolly. He said that she was a bad girl.
Is that all?
Yep.
Well, Miss Fay, you heard him yourself.
Oh boy, you're not doing yourself any favors here, Mr. Wright. Please don't make this harder for me than it already is. Anyway, after he said that, I lost my temper and gave him a shove. Can you tell me about what happened in a little more detail? That guy, he just said what he wanted to say to me. And then he put on the jacket he was holding and started to leave. That's when I lost my temper and flew into a furious frenzy. Ha! I just gave him a light, gentle shove to the chest. And when he did that, there was no severed cable anywhere to be seen. Right, there was nothing like that at all.
But is it possible that you merely overlooked it?
Well, I guess it's possible. What are you doing? Don't let that guy steamroll over you like cheap asphalt.
I believe what's important here is the moment the push occurred. Let's continue on with the testimony witness.
At that moment, I heard some kind of loud noise. A loud noise? And what would you say that loud noise? What? And what would you say that loud noise was, Mr. Wright? I'm not sure, but it was really loud. It was like snap. You know? Come to think of it, I wonder what that was.
Clearly, Your Honor, it was the sound of the victim being electrocuted.
What? You're not qualified to decide that. What should I do? I'm treading on some dangerous ground here. Sure. Mr. Wright, that loud noise you heard may be extremely important. So try to remember what it was. How do I put it? It was like a sharp crack. Aha! Could it have been... Yes, could it have been? Hurry up and tell us. When I pushed him, he dropped the umbrella he was holding. He fell right on top of it, and it broke. That was probably the noise I heard.
An umbrella, huh? And did that umbrella belong to the victim?
Yeah, it was a plastic umbrella, cheap and frail, kinda like the owner. Then again, I wish I had any kind of umbrella. I was totally soaked to the bone.
Miss Fay? What do you think? Is there something important in that testimony just now?
Well... Yeah. This is it, Mia. The new information you've been waiting for. Of course it's important. No, this cheap umbrella is more than important. It's vital. I want to officially have it entered in the testimony.
Ha! How perfectly fitting! Flimsy information for a flimsy lawyer!
The court agrees to the defense's request. Witness, please add the bit about the cheap umbrella to your testimony.
After I shoved him, he fell down on top of his cheap umbrella. So, Mrs. Swallow fell on top of Mr. Swallow fell on top of his umbrella. Are you certain of this? Yeah, and it was right under them. Fuck. Yeah, it was right there under him. Actually, if it had been under him, I was planning on borrowing it for myself. The umbrella, you mean? Well, yeah, you see, I was wearing the sweater here. Dahlia stayed up late for nights at a time knitting it for me. I didn't want the rain to dampen the handmade symbol of her love.
My stomach is not to be used as your personal soccer ball, Mia.
I'm so sorry.
Continue on with your testimony, witness.
A little while after I left, I started to get worried. After he shot the victim, did you leave the scene right away? Yes, I did. I admit it. I was furious.
You left without even checking Mr. Swallow's condition?
Well, yeah, but like I said, I got worried about him later. So I went back, but he was just lying there, dead. At that time, did you see anyone else at the scene of the crime? Nope, nobody. Jeez, could that stupid cough possibly sound any funnier?
In that case, it's very hard to believe someone else could have been the murderer. Unless we can find something that shows his innocence from the testimony, my dear. I'm afraid the judge will make his final decision with no remorse whatsoever.
Yes, sir. Right now, I need more info. Info that'll help me turn up some contradictions. I was thinking about that. Okay, hold on. Okay, I was gonna say, but that doesn't matter. I was gonna say if he was protecting himself from the water, then he wouldn't have been executed. But that's stupid. It's the clear contradiction here is that he didn't fall on his umbrella. So how do you explain that? Why didn't you testify about the umbrella from the very beginning? Come on, if I had mentioned that, I would have been able to counter the prosecution's arguments earlier.
What do you mean by that?
Take another look at the crime scene photo. According to Mr. Wright, the victim fell on top of his umbrella. However, if you look closely, the umbrella is nowhere near the victim. Actually, it's by the electrical pole.
You're absolutely right.
The conclusion here is obvious. After the defendant left, the victim moved from where he fell. In other words, after he was pushed by the defendant, Mr. Swallow was still alive.
No!
Order. The victim, he moved? Mr. Payne, the umbrella in this photo, where is it now?
Well, it was collected by the police at the crime scene.
I want to present it as evidence immediately.
But the umbrella could have simply been blown there by wind.
According to the testimony, the victim fell on top of the umbrella. There's simply no way it could have been blown there by the wind.
But...
I know this matter of the umbrella seems relatively trivial, but as long as a small doubt remains, I cannot render final judgment.
No!
I must say, I still find it hard to believe that a huge hole has been blown in the prosecution's case by the defendant's testimony. Well done, Mia. Mr. Payne, what are you chuckling about?
Pardon me, Your Honor. It seems I was suspecting too much of a free ride. He was foolish to think I could establish guilt through cross-examination alone.
I'm afraid I don't follow what you're saying.
But, let me guess. You have another witness?
Ding, 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 ding! Exactly. And this witness's testimony will be incontrovertible.
Well, who is this witness?
Miss Dahlia Hawthorne.
Dahlia Hawthorne? You don't mean Dolly?
I do, Your Honor. The defendant's very own lover is a witness to the whole thing. That's right. She was at the scene of the crime when the murder took place.
What?
I'm sorry to break the bad news to you, my dear.
Bad news? You couldn't be more wrong. Actually, I've been waiting for this.
You can't be serious.
Mia, what do you mean by that? I think this is a good point for us to stop at. Court will now enter a 20-minute recess. Afterwards, we will listen to the testimony of Miss Dahlia Hawthorne.
Miss Faye, I'm sorry about what happened back there. It's alright. At least you told us the truth in the end, Mr. Wright. Yeah. So I guess I can start to relax then, huh?
Relax, my boy. You can't be serious after hiding such important facts.
But the next witness is my Dolly, right? She'll save me. I just know she will. Why do you think that? Huh? What do you mean? She's the love of my life, that's why. The love of your life? Huh. Would you mind telling me more about you and Miss Dahlia Hawthorne? Sure, no problem. Dahlia and I, we first met about 8 months ago right here in this very courthouse. Actually, I'm studying to be a lawyer on the side, anyway. One day she and I just bumped into each other in the reading room downstairs. That's why I really think it was fate that brought us together. As soon as I first set eyes on her, I knew she was the one for me. Oh, here, take a look at this. She gave this to me the day we met as a symbol of our love. She had been wearing it around her neck that day, but then she took it off. But before she gave it to me, she said, I want you to carry this.
So she gave it to you as a present, I see.
This darling little bottle is filled with memories of my darling little Dolly. It certainly has a little bottle, alright. It makes me so happy, I show it to everyone I meet. I want to share my happiness with the whole world. Anyway, so after that, you and Miss Hawthorne started dating? Yeah, but she's so shy. Every time I see her, she always says the same thing to me. Phoenix, not now. Please give it back now.
What a strange girl, asking for a present back like that.
By the way, Mr. Wright, the day you first met Dahlia Hawthorne 8 months ago, it wouldn't happen to have been on August 27th, would it? Huh? Yeah, it was. But how did you... This happened on August 27th, right here in this courthouse. What's this? A newspaper clipping? Let's see. Murder in the courthouse. Murder?
What are you reading there? Let me see that. Oh, I see. Mia, I think I understand what you're trying to say. And I think I understand why you suddenly took such a keen interest in this case. You believe there's some connection between these two cases, am I correct?
I hope you don't mind, Mr. Grossberg. I need to finish this myself.
Ah, yes, but I'm afraid what you have would not be enough, my dear. I'll go and have a look in the downstairs reading room and see what else I can find.
Thank you.
I want to do whatever I can to be of help to you, Mia. Well, looks like recess is about over. We better all get moving.
I guess so. That recess sure seemed longer than 20 minutes, though. Really? It only felt like 5 minutes. To be continued.
Court will now reconvene. Mr. Payne, please call your witness.
This next person is someone who witnessed a crime as it happened. Prosecution calls Miss Dahlia Hawthorne to the stand.
What's with the stiff silence?
In my long career as a judge, I have been deceived by many witnesses. It's my job to doubt, to take no one at their word. But in your case, I must admit that you radiate a glow of complete sincerity.
I can't believe you actually said that.
Now then, witness, could you please state your full name?
Don't worry, sweetie. There's no need to be nervous.
If anyone says anything rude, you can be sure I'll cut them right down to size.
Now we'll bash them with my gavel.
I love how they look straight at me when they say that.
Thank you for calming my nerves. You're all so nice. I almost feel right at home. Not at all.
It was nothing.
If we may move on now, what is your full name and occupation?
My name is Dahlia Hawthorne. I'm a junior in literature at Ivy University. I just want to say, it's an honor for me to be here in your noble presence.
The honor is all mine.
No, the honor is all mine.
Well, you know whose milkshake brings all the boys to the yard.
Sir?
Is there something I can help you with?
You just go on and say whatever is on your mind.
I'm sure that there must be some kind of mistake. Fiend wouldn't kill anyone. I just know it.
Yes. I can see why you'd say that.
It's gonna be a tough witness, alright? It only took her 12 seconds to wrap them all around her little finger.
Now then, please proceed with your testimony. Let's hear about what you witnessed on the day of the incident, if you please.
I had been planning to go back to Feeney's place after the class was over. Feeney and Dougie, they were talking behind the building. Then suddenly, Dougie got all wobbly and just collapsed. That's when Feeney noticed that I was there. I went to go and find some other students, and they called the authorities.
I don't know what to say. According to you, Miss Hawthorne, the defendant didn't do anything wrong.
Young lady, as old as I am, even I recall how hot the flames of young passion can burn. Nevertheless, it is my job to discover the truth. Please, tell us the truth.
But I would never...
That's more than enough, witness. I won't allow this to continue.
What do you mean by that?
Please, just let me proceed with my cross-examination, Your Honor. I, for one, don't plan to win my case on a bunch of paper-thin lies.
Tee-hee, you haven't changed a bit. Mia Fey?
What's this? So, you two are lovers?
Yes, we've met before. Once.
In any case, Miss Fay, the floor is all yours.
It's good to see you again, Madame Fay.
Madam, I'm no one's grandma yet, girlie. Gaw.
I had been planning to go back to Phoenix's place after class was over.
Now, unless I'm mistaken, Mr. Wright is in the art department. If that's the case, then what were you doing by the pharmacology building?
Well, I'm in the literature department. I'm studying Japanese Shinryu poetry.
Oh, how wonderful! It's that humorous yet satirical style of haiku, yes?
Nothing left to do. When a man reaches this age, sleep is his best friend.
That's supposed to be poetry? Sounds more like a midlife crisis.
For me to get to the art department, I have to walk through that back area.
Ah, yes, I see. That makes sense. When I want to enter the courthouse, I always walk through the front doors.
How else would you enter? Teleportation?
Feeney and Dougie, they were talking behind the building.
So who's this Dougie person?
Oh, I'm sorry, Doug Swallow. We were dating until about 8 months ago.
So what were Dougie, Mr. Swallow, and Mr. Wright talking about anyway?
How can he be so mean? I would never eavesdrop. I wasn't raised to be so rude and unrefined.
That's right, Miss Fay.
Don't drag the witness down to your level.
Why am I being demonized here?
Please, go on. What did you see next?
Then suddenly, Dougie got all wobbly and just collapsed.
Are you saying that the victim just collapsed on his own?
Yes.
In other words, the defendant never touched the victim. Is that right?
I was watching the whole time. Feeney never did a thing to Dougie.
If I press her for no good reason, I just know the judge will get angry with me. So what should I do about her testimony just now? No. Feeble lies are not very becoming, Miss Hawthorne, so let's drop them, shall we?
What? I I would never.
Miss Fay, I will not allow you to badger this witness.
But
I believe the defense is engaged in a fishing expedition.
Right.
That is, she has no supporting. Please don't glare at me like that. I'm just doing my job.
Now then, Miss Hawthorne. The defendant's palm print was found on Mr. Swallow's leather jacket. It has already been shown that Mr. Wright did, in fact, push the victim.
What?
There is no need to try to cover for the defendant. It would be much better if you came out and told us the whole truth.
There's nothing to worry about, young lady. Just tell us everything that you saw.
Yes, Your Honor. I will. If you don't mind, I'd like to revise my testimony.
Looks like we're finally getting somewhere.
Actually, I didn't see the moment he pushed Ducky.
You didn't see it?
Well, I saw the moment when Dougie fell to the ground.
And
At that time, there was only the two of them at the scene. The defendant, Phoenix Wright, and the victim, Duck Swallow.
Yes, that's right. It didn't look like they were fighting, and I didn't hear anything unusual either.
So then, what did it look like they were doing to you?
I thought they were having a nice, friendly afternoon conversation.
Oh, give me a break.
That's why I really wasn't watching them all that closely.
did you notice anything out of the ordinary at all?
No, nothing at all, Mr. Judge.
Oh, I like the sound of that, Mr. Judge. Now then, please proceed with your testimony.
I went to go and find some other students, and they called the authorities.
When you say students, do you mean students from the pharmacology department?
Yes, they're all very fond of their drugs.
Please try to stay on topic. So to find some pharmacology students, you went to the labs, correct?
That's what I was planning to do, but in the end I wound up not going. A group of about 10 research students came running out of the building entrance. Somehow they all seemed to know what was going on.
The students knew what was going on.
What's going on? What's going on?
But how could the students have known what was going on?
Well, I don't know for sure that they knew what had happened. It's just they all seemed kind of excited about something.
Doesn't look like I'm gonna get any more info about the students.
So the students called the police?
Yes, I was so panicked.
Yes, well, anyone would have been, my dear.
That girl, she's telling a super obvious lie, and she knows it. She's just pretending to protect Mr. Wright. Yes, that's gotta be it. Way to go, Mia. Okay, that means I'm gonna have to dig deeper to find the contradiction on this one. Wait, did I didn't press this one, right? Okay, hold on. Let me press this one. So then, what did it look like they were doing to you?
I thought they were having a nice...
Oh, I did press it. Never mind.
I like the sound of that, Mr. Judge. You can call me Judge.
So this is pretty obvious, right? Here we go. Loud noise. How do you explain that? You say you didn't hear anything unusual. Is that correct?
Yes, that's why I was very relaxed looking at the scenery around me.
Huh. That's nice, but I found that just a little odd. I have here the testimony of your boyfriend, Mr. Phoenix Wright, and he clearly testified to the effect that when he pushed the victim, he heard a sharp, loud noise.
He said that?
If you were really that close to the two of them, why didn't you hear this noise as well?
Well, maybe the noise just wasn't all that memorable.
But according to Mr. Wright's testimony, it was a sharp noise like a snap. There's no way a noise like that could have failed to make an impression.
Ack!
May I have a moment to answer?
But by all means.
I know the reason why I didn't hear the noise. You see, the truth is, I had my headphones on and I was listening to music at the time.
Headphones? You mean that both of your ears were covered?
The rain was just beginning to let up, and it seemed as though Thor wasn't ready for his fun to come to an end yet. So the sky continued to flash and rumble.
Thunder and lightning, huh? Very frightening.
Yes, I'm very frightened of the sound of thunder. So I put my headphones on to block it out.
He. Well, Your Honor, as you can see, there weren't any contradictions in her testimony after all.
Wait a sec, Mia. That testimony just now, she said something that could totally change this whole case. Your Honor, there's a problem with the witness's testimony.
What do you mean?
Did you notice? She said there was lightning, correct?
Yes, what about it?
Well, lightning is actually a large discharge of electricity in the atmosphere, am I right?
Now's not the time for a science lesson, Miss Faye.
Yes, Your Honor. Anyway, since the cause of death was electrocution, isn't it possible that the victim died from being hit of a bolt of lightning?
I must admit that the thought had not occurred to me.
Just what kind of thoughts do occur to this guy, anyway? This entire case is built on the premise that Mr. Duck Swallow was murdered. But that very premise itself is mistaken. The defense believes that Mr. Swallow was, in fact, the victim of a stray bolt.
It appears the defense may be onto something. Could it be that the death was actually accidental?
Alright, you did it, Maya. I'll be taking that not guilty now if you don't.
I'm hurt that you have such a low opinion of me, Miss Faye.
Huh?
I'm not a fool, you know. The prosecution has done its research, Your Honor. We found that there were no lightning strikes on the day at that location.
What?
What's more, we have evidence that the electrical cable is definitely linked to this case.
Evidence, Mr. Payne? Well, what is this evidence?
This affidavit.
And who is this affidavit from?
The pharmacology students were conducting experiments in their labs that day. Allow me to read out to the court the testimony of the pharmacology students. All equipment in the labs lost power all of a sudden at around 3 p.m. that day.
Was it a blackout?
All of the lab's equipment runs on high voltage, Your Honor.
So you're saying the equipment lost power because...
Precisely. They lost power because of the severed electrical cable. The power outage occurred at approximately 3 p.m.
Which fits with the time of death listed in the autopsy report.
Exactly. In other words, the victim died as a result of touching the severed electrical cable. According to the students, the cables were very old. They were planning on having them replaced in the near future.
I see.
Apparently the cables had become so brittle that even the smallest bump would have caused them to break.
However, there's one thing that troubles me. If the cable could have been broken by any small bump, then it wouldn't have snapped if it had been bumped it. What? Then it wouldn't have snapped if it had been bumped into, correct?
Well, I suppose you could say that.
Miss Faye, do you have any thoughts regarding the cause of the severed cable?
Your Honor? I don't like how this has got looking one bit. I have to come up with something to try to regain some momentum. If it pleases the court, the defense would like to state its opinion.
Well then, let's hear it. Who or what was it that caused the cable to break?
Cold Killer X. Umbrella. I don't know. Your Honor, please think back to Mr. Wright's testimony. Hold on, let me try to figure it out. Pushed him. So did he push him onto the cable? The cable exposed itself. He fell, didn't die, and the cable. I don't know. Your Honor, please think back to Mr. Wright's testimony.
The defendant's testimony?
He said that after he pushed the victim, he heard a loud, sharp noise. No, this happened at around 3 p.m., correct?
Yes, that sounds right. Wait, are you saying that...
The lab equipment lost power at 2:55 p.m., which fits right in Mr. Wright's timeline. In other words, it was Mr. Wright's shove that caused the power outage. Oh, I see. Okay.
Yes, the prosecution also came to that same conclusion. And it was that very shove that caused Mr. Swallow to be electrocuted.
I'm afraid I can't agree with you there, Mr. Payne.
What's that supposed to mean?
Take a look at where the victim landed after being shoved. See the umbrella? It's by the electrical pole. That's right. The victim banged into that pole as a result of being pushed. It was that impact that caused the cable to break.
Well, that makes sense. And then the victim was electrocuted.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, but no, it doesn't make sense at all. If the victim was shoved into the far pole, then he couldn't have been electrocuted by the severed cable in the foreground here. Ah! In other words, someone other than my client must have electrocuted the victim. Huh.
Order in the court.
Ah, the lamentations of my enemy. How I've longed to hear them.
It's true. The defense is absolutely correct. There doesn't seem to be any way the defendant could have done it.
Mr. Judge, sir, may I say something? The Madam Attorney's explanation. She said some things that are a little different than I remember them.
What?
What the?
Please, just once more. May I please testify one last time? Please, Mr. Judge?
Of course it's alright. Just go right ahead and give your new testimony.
This is it. She's finally starting to show her true colors. Is she though?
The truth is, Feeney pushed him twice.
What?
The first time was into the electrical pole. That's when the cable broke. Then Dougie tried his best to run away from him, but Feeney caught up and crashed into him from behind. The cable snapping and Dougie being electrocuted, it all occurred in less than a minute.
What?
So after being shoved, the victim got up and tried to run away.
And that is when the defendant pushed him for the second time.
I'm so sorry, Feeney, but I just have to tell the truth. Am I doing the right thing? Am I, Mr. Judge?
Of course you are, my dear. As painful as it may seem, you are. Now then, Miss Fay, we may proceed with your cross-examination.
The truth is, Feeney pushed him twice.
Miss Hawthorne, previously in your testimony, you said the following. Actually, I didn't say the moment he pushed Dougie.
I know. I'm sorry. I wanted to protect Feeney.
So that's why you basically lied to the court?
I was a bad girl, I know. Mr. Judge?
Yes?
Would you please forgive little old me?
Of course he won't. What he did is called...
Oh, come on now. You just a little old white lie. We'll forget it this time, but please be more careful from now on, alright?
Oh, thank you so much, Mr. Judge.
Not at all. Ho 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 ho.
The judge had better be more careful himself. A dark alley is friendlier than that girl.
The first time was into the electrical pole. That's when the cable broke.
You're saying you actually saw the victim get pushed into the electrical pole.
I know he doesn't look it, but Feeney can be a bit of an imp when he wants to be.
Oh, really? I'd like to see that.
But I never imagined that he would cause an electrical cable to break. Feeney really is scary when he gets mad.
Yes, he sounds like a very dangerous individual indeed.
Then he tried his best to run away from him.
So let me get this straight. You're happily listening to music on your headphones while you watch the scene unfold?
Wow!
Miss Fay, I'll have to ask you to stop badgering the witness.
I wasn't happy. I was so scared that I couldn't even move. All I could do was stand there and cheer them on.
Cheer them on? What do you mean by that?
Well, I wish the best for them both, and that they would each give the fight their all.
That's very sweet of you to be so supportive.
And what happened after that?
But Feeny caught up and crashed into him from behind.
That doesn't sound quite right. There were handprints found on the chest of the victim's leather jacket. Mr. Payne, were there also prints found on the back of his leather jacket?
No, there weren't.
Madame Faye, may I suggest that you listen a little more carefully?
But
I said that he crashed into him from behind, right? My Feeny wouldn't leave any prints behind in that case, would he? The cable snapping and Dougie being electrocuted, it all occurred in less than a minute.
did you actually witness the moment the victim was electrocuted?
I'm sorry, I didn't actually see it. I turned my eyes away.
That's understandable.
Yes, indeed. It would have been a horrific sight for anyone to behold.
I don't figure out the contradiction here. It's all over. She didn't have much time to come up with her lies, so this is my best chance. There must be a hole in her testimony somewhere. Think, Mia. I think I found it. Less than a minute, huh? Then how do you explain this? That's enough, witness.
I'm afraid I don't understand.
You will in a minute. Could you please take a look at this photograph?
Oh, the medicine! That's the one Feeny likes to take for his cold.
It's not the medicine I want you to look at. It's the wristwatch. Oh, sorry. It's stopped at the precise time the victim was electrocuted. In other words, 3:05 p.m.
Yes, and your point is, Miss Faye?
My point is this. What time was it when the lab suffered that power outage due to the cable snapping?
Well, according to the student's testimony, the answer is clear. It was 2:55 p.m. Yarg!
Would you care to explain to the court, Miss Dahlia Hawthorne, what exactly happened during this 10-minute interval? The defense principle was that it was during this interval that the real murderer killed Mr. Duckswallow.
Order in the court. What is this all about?
This is nonsense! The real murderer?
Even you can't deny that the time between the cable breaking and the electrocution are completely unaccounted for.
Then who was it? Who else are you saying could have done it?
Huh. There is only one person who could have murdered Mr. Swallow. Only after my client had left the scene was there a window of opportunity for the real killer.
Miss Faye, is the defense ready to indict someone as this real killer?
It's finally time. This is the moment I've been waiting for. Yes, Your Honor. We are ready.
Very well, but remember, if you accuse the wrong person, you will be penalized. Think very carefully before you speak, Miss Faye. Now then, Miss Faye, let's have it. Who is the real killer?
It could only have been you, Dahlia Hawthorne.
Wow! How can you?
The defense is grasping at straws.
10 minutes passed between the time the cable broke and the time of the electrocution. What exactly were you doing that whole time, Miss Hawthorne? Were you really listening to some music while cheering them both on as they fought? I found it hard to believe that you didn't lift a finger to stop the men dearest to you.
Order, Miss Faye. What? I mean, why? That is to say,
Miss Hawthorne, I believe you did witness the two men fighting on that day. However, after Mr. Wright pushed the victim and subsequently left the scene, it was you who pushed Mr. Swallow to his death by your own hands.
Ah! How can you say something so mean, Madame Faye? I didn't do anything.
Miss Faye, this is a very serious charge you are.
Your Honor, please, I have something I want to say. Achoo!
You? What is it?
Please strike everything the defense said just now from the record. What the? Are you daft? You're totally wrong, Miss Faye. Dolly, she couldn't do something like that.
Mr. Wright, get back in your seat. Bailiff, grab that man.
Arrgh! Achoo! Achoo! Leave my Dahlia alone! Achoo! That boy.
Oh,
That boy, he's got himself in ways over his head.
oh, Mr. Grossberg, you're back.
Seems I've arrived just in the nick of time. I found the police report on that incident in the newspaper clippings.
Alright. Thank you so much. This is exactly what I was hoping for.
You better take a good look at it. It, details how you came to lose your boyfriend. Now then, the defense has made a very serious accusation. Mr. Payne, what do you have to say about this?
Well, really, Your Honor, that is I.
May I interrupt you for just a moment, Mr. Prosecutor?
Ah, don't you worry, my dear. I have the situation well in hand.
Sniffle.
That is I. Go right ahead.
Madame Faye, are you seriously accusing me of killing my sweet doggy?
Yes, I am. Not only am I saying you murdered Doug Swallow, but you also tried to pin the whole thing on your current lover, Feeny.
I told you that she let me handle this.
Weep!
Sorry. Please go ahead.
How can you say that? I'm absolutely devoted to my dear Feeny. The notion that I would try to frame him is ludicrous. This is all just too much for poor little me to bear.
Ah, I believe the girl is trying to ask what on earth her motive would be.
The answer to that lies somewhere in this police report. It must. 8 months ago, an incident occurred in the basement cafeteria of this building. And then, that same day, the two of them accidentally meet. Your Honor, my defense requests further testimony from Miss Dahlia Hawthorne.
For the testimony? What about?
About the events of the day when she first met the defendant, Mr. Phoenix Wright.
What could that possibly have to do with this case?
The witness claims that she has no reason to frame the defendant, am I correct? Well, I have evidence that suggests that she, in fact, had a very good reason.
Very well then. The court grants the defense's request. Young lady, would you mind staying on for just a bit longer?
Of course not, Mr. Judge.
Get ready for the battle of your life, Dahlia Hawthorne. Arrgh.